welcome to the Wake Up Project. Peter, could you take the seat, please? Thank you all for coming some very large distances from Kent and Wales and up north, all over. So it really is appreciated. Now, who's here from practical lawful descent? Yeah, thank you for all coming. This should be very interesting, particularly for you. And the speakers today are Mark Ceylon and David Bowden, Michael Adira, myself, and David Robson has been delayed, so we don't know if he's actually going to make it. He's still got trouble with his transport. So, first of all, I'd like you to thank Mark Ceylon. He's going to start off. So, well done. Big hand for Mark.
I'm sure you've all heard me talk before, and you're probably sick to death of hearing me. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of a slideshow today, and hopefully it'll be self-explanatory. I do say hopefully. Okay, this is a word we all know, don't we? What's this word? This is a bit of interaction, so I want something back from you. What's this word? Right. I don't use that word. Why don't I use that word? Yeah, exactly. Why? That's because we've been brainwashed from very early age, and what you've got to get is that those that have brainwashed us know all about words and spells in particular, because they call it spelling, and that's what they do. They actually cast spells upon us, and we cast them ourselves without realising it. Now, I don't use this word because you take the O and put it at the beginning, you've got oh hell. Quite simple, we all know this, we've all seen it. Vowels can be moved or changed for others, as you will see as we move on. Now, I'm going to start off with this and then move on to something a little bit else. So what do I say? Well, I say hi. Hi, that's it. Simple word, hi. Not because I am high at the moment, but I have been in the past. Buy, that's a word we all use as well, don't we? You go into a shop and you get something from the shop and you go to the checkout and you pay for it and they go, buy. Except that I don't use that because buy. That's what they're saying to you, buy. They say, buy, you go, I've just bought, I've been there, and they paid cash, and there you go, I've bought something. So I don't use buy, I use see ya, or so long. And very occasionally I will use them words. That's when I'm talking to somebody not as intellectual as you lot, because they wouldn't understand what I was doing, so I just play a little bit of a game with them. Now this bloke here is leading a horse, isn't he? And he's leading it, and the way that is spelled is lead. Yeah? We agree? This is it, this is interaction. I want something. Yeah. Deal. Now, do you know your elements? Yeah. Okay. What's that then? No, it's not. It's lead. We've just shown it you. Why is it suddenly changed when the words, letters are exactly the same? But we just accept these things. We know that if you put it in a certain sentence in a certain way, then it means a different word. Lead or led. Now, someone's definitely been messing with our spellings, because I would spell lead like that. That's not how you apparently spell it, but that's how I spell it. That's how I say it. That makes sense. Lead. Like if you go to Leeds, well, lead. Now this is a quite innocuous little science entrance. What we don't realise is we're brainwashed, because when you go into a shop they want you to walk around and buy things like you're in a trance. Because you are in a trance when you go in there. It's all programmed into you to be like that. Now we go to this Broadmarsh, just over the road there, Broadmarsh bus station. Now, I've always had problems with words and spellings, and I often spell things the way they should be spelled, and I also spell things the way they shouldn't be spelled. Station, that just doesn't make sense to me. You go to a station, you're either going on a trip or you're meeting somebody that's come from a trip or come to meet you. Now, how in the hell is TS? ST, if you go alphabetically, ST is the next letter after S, so they've only moved it slightly, but apparently that T represents S. We've got the word stay in station, and we've got the word shun. That's the way I would spell it, shun, not T-I-O-N. Doesn't even make sense. I've always been called for spelling things incorrectly, for not doing my spelling right, and that's because I don't like kick-ass spells. So that is the way I would spell station. That makes sense. Just because we've been brainwashed into thinking T-I-O-N is shun is ridiculous. You've got to break this brainwashing swear word out of it. So, we're controlled. We know we're controlled by this spelling. The spells that we cast all the time without realising it. We're controlled by stationery or stationery. Now, stationery can't move, and yet it rules all our lives. You get a bill come. It's a piece of paper with words on it in foreign languages, but you get a bill in foreign languages. But it's stationery. It only has effect when you go and pay the bill. Or if it's a council tax, it's not even a bill, it's just a fraud. But we don't want to go down too far down that route. So let's get moving. Right. The Mandela effect. Who has not heard of the Mandela effect? This is interactive, so I want hand showing if you've not heard of it. I am disgusted in the lack of... I didn't tell you about half a dozen of you, so I suppose that means the rest are either lying or they know about it. How it is now, and since the 1930s, when the VW, Volkswagen, was invented, this, and if you check back on the internet, do a search, you'll find that it's always had this gap between the V and the W. Now, the reason I go on about this is because I've done a lot of looking into car signs and the symbolisms and what they actually mean. And the way it used to be, it never had a gap. Never had a gap. And I've got evidence of that. It used to be like that. 2 V's crossed over to actually make 3 V's. And the significance to that is that V in, I think it's Hebrew, V is actually 6. So that was actually 666. And because I spent a lot of time looking at these signs and working out what they meant, when it changed, and I know it changed sometime after 2010, 2012-ish, sometime in there it changed, and things also changed recently. In fact, I was in bed asleep, and then I woke up, it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, last year or the year before, and I just knew something had changed. I didn't know what it was, but I went down onto my computer, I put out a video, something's changed. I didn't know what had changed, I still don't know what's changed, but I do know things have changed. This is how I recall the VW. You can see there's clearly no gap between the V and W. This was taken from a video that I put out about 2011 or 2012, I can't remember exactly. And this was actually pointed out to me by one of my subscribers on YouTube. He was watching this video and he noticed, unfortunately he knew about the Mandela effect, and the Mandela effect is basically, it's called the Mandela effect because the first time it was reported was in 2010 when somebody remembered Nelson Mandela dying in the 90s. Now, whether I wasn't paying attention or not, I don't know, but I don't remember him dying in the 90s, but somebody remembered him dying in the 90s. And yet, he died just a couple of years ago, apparently. Now, if we take it, well, that was a video, but it doesn't work on here. Here's another thing that you should all be aware of, the thought about. I know this because the first car I ever had was a Ford Fiesta, and that is exactly how the Ford badge looked. Does anyone else remember it this way? Does anyone remember it any other way? Right. Another Ford badge. This is actually on a car, and there it is again, Ford. And it's actually, the Ford badge itself actually comes from Henry Ford, who invented, allegedly, the Ford car, and it was taken from the way he signed his signature, the Ford logo was. There you go, Henry Ford. You can see that his signature is very similar to the Ford badge as it was, because it's no longer like that. It's never been like that, apparently. Now it's got this squirrely little pigtail in it. Now, I've spoken to many that are car enthusiasts, and they will swear on their lives it never had that. It never had that pigtail in it. There's the two, so you can compare them. You can see that squirrely little pigtail. It just doesn't even make sense, because if you look how the Fords wrote, and then they've done the F and then they go on to the O, so what's this squirrely pigtail all about? That's not saying there's anything wrong. In fact, I actually take it as something good, because if 666 is no longer 666, we're in a better reality. Now, all the stuff I'm saying here, I'm not saying it's real or fake or whatever, I'm just telling you what I've researched. And this is the Ford badge, the one on the far left there is the original, then in 1909 it changed that, and that in 1912, this is apparently when this pigtail appeared, except if you're suffering or feeling the Mandela effect, it was never like that. However, 1912, in this reality, it's always been like that. That pigtail thing has always been there, yet anyone that knows anything about cars, in particular Fords, you'll know that that was never there in our previous reality. Now, one of the things they say, and when I say they, it's not me, this is just stuff I work, they suggest that the reason it changed was because in 2012, which we all know was apparently the end of the world, according to the Mayans, or so we're led to believe, apparently our world ended in 2012. We would all be dead, except because we're such good, honest, nice beings, they moved us to a different reality. A reality that is slightly different, hence the squiggly pigtail on their Ford badge.
Was Pete Townsend thing as well?
Sorry?
Pete Townsend thing?
There's loads of things, I'm not going to cover them all, otherwise I'll be here all day. Who remembers Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Yeah. So there's only two people that remember it, the rest of you've never heard of it. Right. The book was called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The film in 1971 was called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The remake, of course, you'd call it the same as the original film, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, wouldn't you? Except it was never called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Apparently it was called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which makes no sense whatsoever, because it was about Charlie. It wasn't about Willy Wonka, it was about Charlie. This is how it apparently and actually always has been in the reality that we are currently in. Although I remember watching it as a kid, and it was definitely Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Anyone use Febreze? This is interactive now. There's only two people actually. Oh, 3, 4 now. 5, 6. We're getting there. Before you know, you'll all be reacting. You remember Febreze? You spray it on your furniture and it takes nasty smells away, doesn't it? Does that look familiar? This is interaction. This is where you say, yes, Mark. Yes, Mark. Okay. Here we go. There's another sign there for Febreze. That's exactly how I recall it. This is how it always has been. There's been no double E in the middle. You check that now and you will find it's never had 2 E's in the middle, except it did in my previous reality. Here we go again. That's what it's like now. How many of you remember, or I'm sure everyone has seen the JFK assassination, where he gets murdered by the elite. Oh, 2, 3, only 3 of it. 4, 5. Oh. So the interaction is coming. That's good. I like to have a little bit of interaction. This is a. This was in a museum. This is a model of the car that JFK was assassinated in. This is the wing mirror there, so you can see this is the driver's seat just in front of them. That's not a very good likeness, but that's supposed to be JFK and Jackie Onassis. There's the car at a more wider view. This is the car that he actually got assassinated in this reality. The slight problem is that there's now 6 people in the car where that car only fits 4. However, apparently, there's always been 6 people in the car. Now, here we go again. You can see that I never remember this piece being there. And then all the videos I've watched about it, and I've done a lot of digging into this sort of thing. I don't remember this picture at all. I remember him being shot, and he getting shot in the neck or chest, and he sort of slumped on, and then next his head gets blown off. I do not remember or recall ever seeing him go like this, that he's been shot, because shortly after this, his head gets blown off.
It's a chance today.
Exactly. So I do not recall that happening, ever. Although apparently he did in this reality.
The driver turned around.
Sorry?
The driver was supposed to turn around, so there were 2 behind.
That's exactly it. There are several theories as to who shot him. One of them was that the driver shot him. Well, with those 2 sat behind him now, that makes that impossible. Right, Moonraker. Anyone James Bond fan? Okay. Does anyone remember Moonraker? Okay. Why? Do you remember what this guy's called? Jaws, yeah. And he's called Jaws because of those silver teeth he's got. Now, in that film, he actually falls in love with a girl. Do you remember that? Why does he fall in love with that girl?
She got teeth on her.
Apparently now she doesn't. The young ones. How many lived in the house? We've all seen that. Well, I never really watched it, to be honest with you, but the missus did, and she swears that she knows exactly how many people actually lived in the house. 4. That's what I recall. Who's this then? Doesn't appear in the titles. It's not named at any point, but whether it's a bloke or a woman, I'm hoping it's a woman because the way her head's placed, it looks like she's doing something rather dirty. But apparently, she's in several episodes of The Young Ones and was a constant member of the party. Here she is sat next to the stairs, and there she is sat over in the corner. Now, you could have just missed it because you weren't watching. However, I doubt it. The Wizard of Oz. We've all seen The Wizard. Now, I've got some that interact, and the rest of you are just sitting there for a show by the looks of it. Alright, The Wizard of Oz. First thing we need to know about The Wizard of Oz. When they were on their travels, were they carrying anything?
No.
Okay, so we've got a basket for Dorothy. An oil can, I think that was at the beginning, and I don't think that scene was seen again. But the Tin Man did actually have a big mallet. The lion didn't have anything apart from sometime you'd see him holding his tail. And the straw man, as I recall, wasn't carrying anything, as I recall it. Here you'll see there's a big spanner. This is what the Tin Man's carrying, as well as his mallet, which you'll see later. But also, the Cowardly Lion is carrying this big butterfly net, which I don't recall ever being in the film. There you can see his mallet, because it's being carried because they're helping the Cowardly Lion with his big butterfly net when he's going off to catch monkeys, but apparently he's going to use a butterfly net. Anything wrong with that picture? He's got a gun! The straw man has a gun, and although you can't see it very clearly on there, his fingers couldn't even fit in to pull the trigger. Why would the straw man have a gun? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Where are these pictures taken from?
These were taken from the original with Judy Garland in. So, in fact, mother-in-law recently, it was put on TV just before Christmas, and she called us up and said, "What's going on? The straw man's got a gun, and the cowardly lion's got a net, and he's got a spanner." Right, I'm going to show you a few things that have changed rather quickly, just to skip through, because I don't want to be here talking all day, because I know Tom's dying to get up and talk to you all. The village people. YMCA. Come on, we all remember it, don't we? How many people are in the group? 5. Okay. Any others? 5. So I remember 5 people. The cowboy, the cop, the Indian, the construction worker, and the biker. Although he does look a bit gay.
Yeah.
There's 6 now. A soldier type guy. And what I did when I was doing a bit of digging into this, I went onto YouTube and I got one of the YMCA songs down, and he's in that song on YouTube. However, the 5 that were really in it in my reality are all stood on the, as they call it say in America, on the sidewalk. They're stood there and they're singing the song. This guy is in the road. A, it's dangerous, and B, he was never there in the original anyway. But that's by the by. Snow White. Who remembers it? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Is that it? Is that how it said?
Yeah, definitely.
No. You watch it now. It's magic mirror on the wall. They've never said mirror, mirror on the wall in that film. Although I remember him as mirror, mirror, and there's loads of things referring to it as mirror, mirror on the wall. Apparently, we never used to have these bones behind our eyes. This, as well as actual changes in almost everything we know, our bodies apparently have changed as well. And as I've researched, what they are suggesting is that our bodies needed to change to live in this reality. This reality isn't as hospitable as our previous reality. Certain body parts have also changed, moved, enlarged. I'm not going to go into what they are, but this is what's happened. I'm sure doctors must know this, must know that these things have changed, but I remember looking at skulls and you'd be able to see straight through to the back of the skull, not with this bone that's now there, apparently. Tony the Tiger used to have a black nose. So, sometimes these changes are very subtle. I remember him with a black nose, I definitely don't remember him with the blue nose. Adolf Hitler, brown eyes, blue eyes, black eyes, which were they? The blue now, I remember it being black, because I remember when I was being indoctrinated at school, that when it said that he wanted a race of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, I thought, well, why would he want that when he's not got blue eyes himself and not got blonde hair? But apparently now he has got blue eyes, so yeah, there you go. Couldn't make something up. Desi Arnaz. Now this is way past me and 1 or 2 of you in here, but some of you will be old enough to remember that his name was Desi Arnaz with an EZ, not Desi.
Is it Desi Arnaz Jr.?
Well, his name's changed, the A's changed for the E. This comes back to what I first showed you about the hello. The A has now changed, the E has now changed for an A. Now it's only a slight change, and a lot of these changes are very subtle. It's only those that have eyes to see that will notice these changes. Procter & Gamble. I'm fairly sure it used to be Procter with an O, but now it's Procter with an E. Interview with a Vampire. Do you remember it? Is that how it's said? Is that the name? Interview with a Vampire? It doesn't say that on there, does it though? It says Interview with the Vampire. And when I was in a second-hand shop recently, and I saw a DVD, and it was the way that it is now, and I looked at it sort of smirked to myself because I know that these things have changed.
What are they achieving?
Sorry?
What are they wanting to achieve? What are they achieving?
Right. They're not achieving anything. If you are into science fiction, as it's called, but it actually turns out that most science fiction is probably more science fact, there are multiple identical, almost identical realities. And the changes are very subtle in these other realities. In fact, we're living in a reality that's slightly different to our reality. And some suggest that they've gone back in time and changed them. Well, that just wouldn't make sense. Why would you change the...
Yeah, but couldn't they just mess about with people's minds? I mean, is that just, you know...
Well, one of the excuses they give is that you're remembering it incorrectly. It's a mass incorrect memory that you've got. Well, it's not. I remember exactly how things were, and it wasn't like that. Mona Lisa, she's got a bit of a smirk now. She never used to have.
Five.
Remember this? There's a statue of this, the thinker. Who doesn't know this sculpture? This isn't the sculpture, this is a proposal, but who doesn't know that that's what it was like? Yeah, because it's called the thinker, you know, that sort of thing. Here's a guy in front of the thinker doing exactly what the statue is doing, except he doesn't do it anymore. He's never had his hand on his head, it's always been on his chin. In this reality. Staples. Now, I did get it. I remember the staple, the top one. I remember it like that, but I also know that it's now like that. And I just accepted that that's the way it had already been. I never really questioned it until I started looking into this stuff. And that's how it used to be. The top one is how it used to be. In our reality, well, mine anyway, because you lot could be from a different reality. Now this is more American based, but double stuff used to have 2 Fs. Stuff is 2 Fs, but apparently it's never been. Back to the Wizard of Oz. Fly, my pretties, fly! Go get them! But apparently she never said that. Now it's in the movie, it's now fly, fly, fly. Died in 2013. Some recall him dying in 2013, but apparently he died in 2016. There's a lot of people remember some characters dying at various different times, and that's because in the reality they were from, that's when they died. And I know it sounds crazy. When I first started looking into it, I thought, yeah, you know, you lost the plot. Volvo. Now again, this comes down to me because I did a lot of things on signs, and now it's gone from that to a male symbol, and that's on them all. Which one of these is correct? Which one do you remember? If you've got kids, you'll have known. Well, Lisa?
Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is.
I haven't seen the new way yet. I've only seen the old way. So my
Hello, Clarice. Silence of the Lambs. Never said it. He never said it in the movie, in this reality. Johnny Walker. Now, my dad used to like a dabble of the old whiskey himself. It's changed. It's now got an IE instead of a Y. In fact, I've got a bottle at home. What we got from Dominican with the leaves and stuff in. Should have a look at that. Sally Fields. It's not Sally Fields, it's Sally Field. This is where she received an Oscar, and many recall her saying, "You like me, you really like me." But apparently she said, "You like me right now, you like me." Where's his suspenders gone?
When he's wearing them.
Beat me up, Scotty. We all know that one, especially her there, because we were talking that she's a Trekkie fan herself. He never said it. Never said beat me up, Scotty, apparently. Dr. Dolittle. There's only one O in it. Gandhi. His H has moved to the end of his name rather than at the beginning. Pikachu, now this will be for the younger ones amongst you, and I'll fall into that bracket of course, the rest, many of you will be over that bracket, but this is something for kids, a kids show. Apparently he had a black tail at the end, now he never had. Kit Kat or Kit Kat? With a dash or not? I don't remember it either way, to be honest with you. I never eat it, but apparently that's changed. Inspector Gadget. Apart from the pilot episode, where he did have a moustache, now he's never had a moustache. Halley's Comet. It used to be Halley's with one L, now it's Halley's with two L. This is the one that Tom will enjoy. Moses apparently has horns. That would make him a demon then, wouldn't it? Which one's correct?
Sex and City.
Yeah, Sex in the City. That's how I recall it. This was this. Remember me saying I'd seen the DVD. This was the DVD I saw, and it was Sex and the City. Only slight changes, but they changes nonetheless. How many of you recall the lion laying down with the lamb? Right? It's no longer that. It's never been that. Apparently, it's always been the wolf.
Playing the Fabians, that one.
Anyone seen Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
Right.
If you build it, they will come.
You build it. If you build it, they will come. But and I saw this recently. It's now if you build it, he will come, which actually doesn't make sense because if you're going to build a stadium, you want all the players and the supporters and whatnot to come. But apparently, he will come. Who he is, your guess is as good as mine. Everyone must know this one. Life is like a box of chocolates. A box of chocolates.
I like your version.
Yeah. He never said that. Its life was like a box of chocolates. Now, in the film itself, his mother, played by Sally Fields again, or is it Field? She does actually say life was like a box of chocolates. However, he always said life is like a box of chocolates. And in a recent show he was in, where he was doing a quick take of all the shows he'd been in, he actually says life is like a box of chocolates. So even he recalls it as life is like a box of chocolates, not life was like a box of chocolates. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world, except that I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Now anyone with kids or weird sense of humour will know that anyway. Henry Houdini was apparently his name. I recall it as Harry, I'll just say that. Everything that goes on here doesn't mean that I recall it that way, this is just what other people, because I was doing a talk on this particular subject up in Hull, and there was a couple at the back there, and he said he remembered it the way I remembered it, and this is said that she remembered it the way it is. And they weren't very impressed when I told them, well actually, one of you is from a different reality, you're not the bloke that you actually got together with, sort of thing, because that's what's happened. They changed reality. Now, where the ones that were in this reality have gone, I haven't got a clue. I'm not know-it-all, although some people suggest I am. Daylight savings time, except it's not daylight savings time, it's daylight saving time. The Addams Family, now got 2 D's in it. Jaws, we're going to need a bigger ship, or boat, except you're going to need a bigger boat. Well, they're both on it, so surely they're both going to be on it, so they're both going to need a bigger boat, so therefore we're going to need, but apparently it doesn't say that anymore. This is for the gamers in their Xbox. Apparently, this Xbox used to have this. Well, I don't remember. I played on an Xbox, but I didn't pay that much attention, but apparently it's not got it anymore. Now, there's a new species of animal that came around in 2010. Which is around the time it was first reported, this Mandela effect. They're called the Lycoi cats. They look almost like werewolves. They've got webbed feet. Why would a cat have webbed feet? Lycoi cats. They look okay, but I don't know where they came from. And that definitely looks like it's a demon or something like that, from what I can see. That's not too bad. Has anything else changed? That's what we've got to see. There's 2 maps of the world. The top one is how it is now. The bottom one is how I recall it. For a start, Australia was much further lower of Papua New Guinea than it is now. Now it's virtually touching Papua New Guinea. South America was virtually below North America. Now it's right the way over to the right. Also, Cuba and the Caribbean islands have moved around somewhat as well. So, well, whether the Earth's flat or not, I don't know. But to be honest with you, I'm not particularly bothered. Although it could be flat, it certainly could. I've looked into a few of these videos that some are putting out about the flat Earth, and there are questions that I couldn't answer. I simply couldn't answer. However, I'm not going to say the Earth is flat because I don't know.
I won't put it past them.
This is from a film called Dazed and Confused, and this is just a quick shot I took from the actual film. Anyone notice anything odd in that particular picture? Yeah. There's a large island to the left of Australia. Now that actually is quite interesting because someone landed in, I think it was either Australia or Japan, and had a passport and driver's license, except it wasn't recognised by anyone. This island does not exist. It's not on the actual, it doesn't exist at the moment. This guy landed, and when he showed his licence and his passport, it was from somewhere that they'd never heard of. They put him up in a hotel room overnight. When they came back to him the next day, he'd vanished. Everything that he'd brought with him, his luggage and that, had all gone. They never heard from him or found him again. And the suggestion is that he somehow crossed from his reality where this island existed and took off and landed at an airport, and he just shouldn't have been there because it's from a different reality. But that is actually in a film, and you can go and look up Dazed and Confused. It's about 15 minutes in, and he's spinning this globe, and you can clearly see that there is an island to the left there. Star Wars. Now we're all Star Wars fans, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, there's only 2 Star Wars fans. Oh, 3 then. 3. Oh, 4. Oh, well, we're getting there. We'll get some interaction by the end, unless I have to throw something at the door. Do you remember this robot? C-3PO. Remember him?
Yeah.
Oh, all gold, isn't it? Always has been. Except that in this reality, he's not. He's always had a silver bottom half right leg. Here you can see him again with the bottom silver leg. Now this is a clip from a bloopers video where I was going to play this, but it doesn't work on this laptop because of Pete there. And what happens is you can clearly see that leg is gold, exactly the same as that leg. This is a clip I was going to play, and it just shows you. He walks into that and falls over. Now why it didn't change in this, where it's changed in everything else, I don't know. But there are certain things that are left behind. It's like when I was doing the reason I know about the VW badge is I was doing a talk about it, explaining what it meant, and I did it on camera. In that video now, which I've got, the VW badge has got a gap between it, and yet I'm explaining as to what it really means and how it really works. There you go, close up of his leg, clearly gold. This is a promo for the actual film. That you can see right down in the bottom corner there. There he is. Look at that. Gold leg. Yeah, apparently. It's always had silver leg. This is a famous line. Any Star Wars fans will know it. Luke, I am your father. Apparently it's no, I am your father. I was really looking forward to playing this, because this is Queen, We Are the Champions, and in the video I had, I might try it, see if it plays. I don't think it will, but we'll try it. It's got celebrities singing in a car to We Are the Champions, and We Are the Champions, as I recall it, has always ended as We are the champions of the world. That's the way it's always ended, except it doesn't end like that anymore. It just ends as We are the champions. That's it. Apart from the live performances where it is in, so that's, which is what I was hoping to be able to play here. And that's the end of that slideshow. anyone got any questions on anything I've covered here?
So are you saying that if I've got an original Forrest Gump report and I now watch it, it's going to say I've bought a box of chocolates?
Yeah, it'll have changed.
I can remember watching that film.
Which one?
Say, Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And it did say, life is
Life is like a box of chocolates, yeah.
I remember.
Sorry, the Star Wars one is a bit more in-depth. At the moment, with the new release of the newest one, what's it called now? Not Rogue One, the one before that. Is it Awakening or something? The new one. The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
In that, C-3PO has a red arm, but the rest of him's gold.
Crazy stuff. Yeah.
You should have noticed there's no North Pole now.
Sorry?
There's no North Pole.
Half and half?
There's no ice mass in the North Pole.
Oh, yeah, yeah, what about it?
There's no ice mass. It's gone.
Yeah. Well, if you look into the poles, the South Pole is the one I'd particularly like to go and have a look around, because every country on the planet has signed a treaty to say they will not send anyone there except for expeditionary thingies, and if you try to go there, the military will shoot you down, track you down and stop you. So they're hiding something down the North Pole, whether it's at the bottom of the Earth or on flat Earth, I don't know, but they're hiding something there. Any other questions?
There's a video on YouTube and you've seen the smartest 13-year-old in the world, and it talks about half an hour regarding CERN changing this reality.
Well, the research I've done into this actually suggests that CERN is the reason that we've moved reality, and maybe the reason our previous planet was destroyed. They're smashing particles together, and they'll tell you it's looking for the God particle. What they're trying to do is actually break a hole in our reality to let demons in, because those that were in charge and may look like they're in charge at the moment, they're all controlled by demons. A demon is in their body controlling them. Johnny Depp, he's controlled by a demon, and he even almost admits it. He says that films like the Pirates of the Caribbean, he's never watched it because it's not him. Because apparently a demon takes over his body when the acting part comes and does it better than what he could do. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I do know this evil that's been controlling this planet for a hell of a long time, and it's time for that evil to go, and we are going to be the ones that destroy it. There's no point waiting for any extraterrestrials to come down and help us. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. Those in charge are evil, we need them sorting, locking up. I wouldn't want them executing, because that's a quick way out, and if you believe in reincarnation, then they just come back as something else. So. Right, any other questions?
Just wanted to be clear, are you actually saying that if I get out a video now that I watched years back,
yeah,
and I remember the detail in it,
yeah,
that would have changed
yes.
on that?
Yes, even if you bought a video or DVD or whatever from years ago, you play it now, it will have changed to how it is now.
So we're along the lines of we're joined into a different reality.
Yeah.
Is that why things like Trump isn't bothered about global warming, isn't bothered about it all? Because what will happen is we'll just be joined in again once we get to that point.
Trump,
because he's not the first American president.
As far as I'm concerned, if anyone in that position of power is in with them. Now, he said the right things coming into it. And I'll look into the CDC, what they've been covering up about vaccinations, and what's happened. Nothing. Either he got into it with a good heart, maybe, thinking he was going to do the right stuff, and then at some point someone said, listen, you better change your ways, otherwise you're going to get assassinated. Or he's just pure evil, I don't know. Either way, you don't get into that position. It's like Corbyn. If you think Corbyn is a good bloke, you are living in cloud cuckoo land. He was involved in paedophilia in the 80s, he covered it all. He is part of the establishment. Although he might say the right things, he is one of them. And it doesn't matter who gets into power, the same agenda will continue. This is why voting is an absolute waste of time. It's only there to give you the belief that you can make a difference. If you could make a difference, why is the same shit still going on? And when May gets in, it's going to be ramped up a hell of a lot. There's serious shit, and she's going to get in. They're going to fix the vote exactly like they did with the Brexit vote, because the actual vote to leave was around 80%. They fiddled it so it was so close, 49-51. Absolute. We had my MP, Kenneth Clark, the paedophile. There was some council houses in Bridgford, West Bridgford, and they had a vote. They sent a vote out to everyone. Everyone to vote whether they should sell it to a private corporation or keep it. And the vote was 51 to sell, 49 to keep. Except everyone I spoke to voted no. It was a fixed vote. Voting is there so that you believe you've got the illusion of choice. You can make a difference. You can, but not by voting. Voting, you're just backing up the corrupt system that we live in, which is about to come to an end very, very soon. But you've got to do your bit. Don't take your foot off the gas now because we're nearly there. In fact, put it down further. We should be going even harder at blowing the corruption that's going off in this country and this whole planet. And if there's no further questions, I think that's me done. Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much, Mark. That was brilliant.
Now, we've got a special speaker, which is Lee Ravenscroft, who will give you an update on his court case, and you'll see the corruption that actually is going on that Mark was just talking about. So you'd like to come up and join us, Lee?